So yeah, welcome, Trap. I don't want to say your actual name, if that's alright. So I'll
Uh,
just call
it
you Trap in
it's
this.
it's fine. I mean, but I've said my name before in other places, so it's not a big secret.
All right. Well, Alexander or Alex is Alex okay for short?
Yeah, you can call me Alex.
All right, sweet. So pretty much, what I'm just gonna ask you some questions. Like I know there's the Q&A videos and everything, but I
Mm-hmm.
found they're just like really related to YouTube. It wasn't actually getting to know the person. It was like, oh, what do you plan on doing with your channel and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So these are outside the box kind of questions, like nothing political because I can't be bothered with that rabbit hole.
Right.
But um, yeah, for this thing, you're gonna be doing the animations, so just feel free if you want to explain that real quick.
I was held at gunpoint. No. What
Knife
happened
point,
is
knife point. Guns are
no, oh,
illegal in Australia. True shit.
that's right. I'm sorry. And it was a real knife too, as you know, has been
Oh,
said in certain Australian movies. I won't say what it is. You can look that up on your own. But yes, what I call you, like, what, retro here? Can I call you retro?
yeah,
Retro?
yeah. Retro works,
All right, retro, if that is your real name.
which it isn't.
Retro, retro here came up with this idea where he wanted to do interviews, and he came to me because he saw that I do animations on my channel, and he said, and this is my best approximation of him. Oh, please, sir, would you mind doing an interview for my stories?
You're lucky
And
I'm half British, because that was a British accent.
I know I'm doing this terribly on purpose.
But that was a good British accent. I'll give you props for that.
Oh, well, thanks. I listen to how people speak, and that sort of helps in my voice acting. So
Oh, fair enough.
thank you. Where was I with my terrible impersonation? That's culturally wrong and possibly insensitive. Um, oh yes. Oh please, sir, will you do the animations for my interviews? And I said, okay. And that's basically how we
He
got
charges
here.
by the bucket, though, I'll tell you. Whew.
What? No one's supposed to know about that.
Yeah,
And I'm
so,
using Movie Zoo here, as you will see in the animation final version of it, because I can't use Go Animate to create custom characters anymore. Thanks a lot, Go Animate. At least not in the anime style anymore. So I'm going to 3D with this. And so here we are.
alright, and I've got a few questions up on screen, so I'll just read it down the list. I don't know how random or anything these are. If it's too personal, just let me know. I have no boundaries. So,
Okay.
like, for example, if someone asks me if I've shoved I don't know, a stick on my ass, yes, yes, I have. So,
I will be blanking this out on my version.
yeah, you can cut that part out. But, all right. So
Go
anyway,
on.
slip of the tongue. First question is, where and how did you grow up as a kid? Like, your childhood.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, pretty much born and raised. Life was interesting. From as far back as I can remember, my father was always angry, and he liked to take that anger out on kids by telling us how nasty and filthy we all were. And, my mother tried to raise us as best as she could. There was a lot of strange family issues that sort of went on that I won't go too deep into, but basically the household was not peaceful, and other than that, I sort of grew up really latching on to a lot of cartoons and various Japanese related things like Godzilla, for instance. That
the
was a
the
huge.
Japanese one or the 1997?
I
American
grew
one.
up watching Godzilla movies in the 80s and early 90s. So this was well before the American Godzilla movie came out in
Well,
1998.
sorry, a spin-off question that I didn't write. How old are you? I thought you were
Oh,
my
I am.
age. I'm 27,
Uh,
so
oh, no, no. I'm much older than you, Junior. I'm 32.
not that much older, but yeah, older. Hey, look, I've got
No, no.
grey
I,
hair,
I
right?
like to.
I'm
Huh?
not kidding. I've actually got grey hair. Don't get married. It kills you. Oh,
Oh, my. Um, no, I know I'm not that much older than you. I just like to, throw my age around because it's all I've got. Um, no, but yeah, I was born in 1985, the very tail end of 1985, and yeah, I've always had a very overactive imagination, and that's stayed with me until now.
awesome. On to the next one. What did you do or still study? Like, if you've graduated, what did you do? If you're currently a student, what are you studying?
Um, my school years are kind of very interesting to talk about because life was hard at home. I basically did not graduate high school normally, which goes from regular school in the United States goes from grades 1 through 12, and then before that there's like kindergarten too. So technically, I stopped at the 10th grade. And I got held back twice. So the only way I was going to graduate on time is if I took this high school equivalency test called the GED.
I did.
I took
In Australia, we had something similar to that as well. I forgot what it was because I went horrible on that too. But
uh-huh.
yeah, so I'm similar to that. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's what you have to do sometimes. I knew I didn't want to be stuck in high school forever, so it was something that was available to me. And I took that test and I actually graduated, never having gone to the 11th or 12th grades. And I actually graduated with pretty good marks on that test, too.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I graduated in 2004, which is when my generation, I guess, of kids were supposed to graduate. So I graduated on time. I could not go to any sort of college or university because of certain parental decisions. So I just started working about a year after I graduated high school. I decided I'm going to give myself some time off for good behavior, you know? So I gave myself about a year off and I started working in 2005. And that's about it as far as my education went.
Ah, not bad. You kind of answered half the next question,
Mm,
which is like, what made you walk the path you're currently walking? So
mm.
from your childhood and the whole education thing, that kind of answers most of it. But if there's anything else that
Oh no,
determined your
because
path, then yeah, I'm
yeah,
keen to know.
um, because we haven't jumped to the part yet where how I went from like just graduating school to creative like lonely guy sitting in his room.
Well,
Um,
I got that from when you said like the whole Japanese cartoon kind of thing, because it goes hand in hand, really. Like,
it does, but that's not the full story. Is what I'm trying to say.
well, let's hear
Um,
it. I'm all ears.
all right. Well, if you let me get to it, you see, we're very argumentative here on this interview. Um, Basically, when I was 14, I found out how movies were made, and that was starting from the story or a script. And I had been writing stories since I was 10. I started with fan fiction. I'm not, too proud to admit that I did start writing fan fiction. And from then on, I learned about how to write screenplays. And I knew that maybe if I write a good enough screenplay one day, I can make it into Hollywood and start making money. That never happened.
Well, not
From the
yet.
time
Give it time. Give it time.
I was 14 to the time I was 29, uh, never broke into Hollywood at all, despite my best efforts and thinking if I write this, maybe they'll like it, or if I just. So, anyway, my biggest inspiration for wanting to write movie scripts was Star Wars. Um, I saw The Phantom Menace in 1999, and unlike a lot of people who kind of just wrote it off afterward as this terrible, horrible cinematic tragedy, I actually quite enjoyed it. And it really sparked something in my imagination. And I wanted to start writing stories from then. And that's how I got into becoming a super starving writer.
Oh, so the name is actually true. It's not just like for comedic purposes.
No, it's like I said, I was very honest about my career path. There's so many stories of, like starving writers in Los Angeles, toiling away on their screenplays, trying to slip it under like the bathroom door of some Hollywood executive
Yeah, like,
so that,
I understand that. Like I said in private chat the other day, my wife does
mm,
graphic design and everything, and at the
yeah.
moment I'm just supporting her for everything. So, but when
Well,
she works hard, so it's good.
yeah. Yeah, creativity, especially if you hone your craft at it. It's not just something that you pull out from the top of your head, although a lot of ideas start out that way. But good ideas and good stories are very well fleshed out, they're ironed out. You do your research on things, and that's how you create these fully realized imaginative worlds. So it does take a lot of effort, and many, many kudos to you for supporting your wife, for pursuing her creative passion there. I appreciate that personally.
Thank you. Yeah, I when we first started dating and everything, and since you're an animator and that's kind of in the same field as what she does, not animation, but you can draw and everything like that.
Yeah.
Um, I told her two things. One, if you want to be with me, be 100% yourself, no matter how batshit crazy it is.
Mm-hmm.
She kept true to that, I'll tell you.
Ah,
And the second was because she said that her aim was to just sell her art from home. And I said, do that, I'll support you 100%. And I've kept to that. I'm struggling, but I've kept to it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
from an arts person's point of view, how does that kind of support, like, push them creative wise?
You mean just like other people appreciating your work and kind of supporting you through like commendation and things like that?
Yeah, like appreciating the work, but also having someone there that's like, oh, I can't work. I need to do this. I can't work a normal 9 to 5. So, you
Mm.
have someone that's willing to have your back, so to speak.
Well, I haven't gotten that too often through my life. There's been a few people who have been there for me. My mom, for instance, has always supported my artistic endeavors, no matter how crazy it got. But other family and other friends, often enough times, they didn't get it. They didn't understand like why I would do this, and sometimes it would be mocked and made fun of, or just misunderstood. So that kind of hurt. But lately, I do have a lot of people over the internet who are doing either similar things or they're working kind of in the exact same thing that I'm doing, and they really
Right, right.
appreciate it. And that definitely helps. It can lift your spirits.
Ah, that's wonderful. So other than YouTube videos and like growing that, what are your other career goals? If you
Career
have any
goals?
others. Yeah, like you mentioned Hollywood before. Other than trying to make it in the Hollywood section, like have you considered maybe trying your luck in different countries or different companies around the world? What's your career goals other than building up a YouTube following, I guess?
My ultimate career goal is to create an animation empire. Sorry.
What would you
Rest in
call
peace,
that?
your ears.
No, I learned my lesson from the last time I was in chat. So I'm wearing like not earphones that go into the ear, but like proper headphones. So
Ah,
yell away.
good job. Basically, it just means establishing several animation IPs and possibly franchises to then branch out into
Oh
other
no, my question was, what
entertainment
would you
films.
name it? Like, what would your company be if you managed to get one and make it work?
You already know the name of it. It's a Trap Productions.
Oh, you gotta have a spin-off. That's your main one, but what's your spin-off one? Like,
If you're talking about if I'm gonna do something like video games or comics, that is to be determined because I have not yet gotten to that point. But if I do get to that point, and I'm certainly doing my best to get there, then
I'm sure
it'll
you
be.
will, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. It'll be an iteration off of the "It's a Trap" motif. It'll probably be like "It's a Trap" gaming, or "It's a Trap" comics, something of
Or
that
if you
sort.
wanted to go for the humor and the old school dad jokes, you could make
Mhm.
the spin-off. I told you it's a trap.
Oh my goodness. No, no, no. I want to keep it like George Lucas was a very huge inspiration on me, and he named a lot of his companies kind of after himself, like Lucasfilm or LucasArts for the video game division. So that's basically how I would probably try and keep things.
Oh, fair enough. Next question. Now, this is where we do get a little personal. Are
Okay.
you in a relationship? Yes or no, and why?
No, I'm not. As for why, in the past, it was just because I was just busy with certain family issues. But now a lot of that stuff has kind of gone away. So I don't know. I'm not really looking for a relationship right now.
Hear that, ladies? Disappointment everywhere.
Yep, it's what I do.
That was a simple question. The next one is do you have any siblings? If yes, how was it like growing up with them? If no, what do you think it would be like? Because
Yes. Oh,
me,
go
I
on.
have a brother and a sister, older brother, younger sister, and it was interesting.
Hmm. Well, to answer your question, I am the youngest of four boys.
Oh, you poor
And
soul.
well, they probably wouldn't think of it that way. A lot of the times it's like, you got away with everything and we couldn't get away with nothing. Um, but besides discipline and things of that sort, there are some good times, there's some bad times. Brothers fight, you have a brother, so
Oh
um,
yeah, we punched each other in the face constantly growing up.
ooh, that's gotta hurt. But yeah, uh how to put this? It was it had its good points and it had its bad points. I
Like every
was
family does, I assume, right? Like there's no perfect
I,
family.
I would assume so. With me though, it was kind of a little different because I wasn't into a lot of the same things that everyone else was. They'd be interested in like I don't know, like hip hop culture and girls and things of that sort. And I'm just like, I just want to watch the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, and so on and so forth. So that again led to sort of misunderstandings and things of that sort. And yeah, that's what that was like growing up with three older siblings.
Oh man, at least you don't have a sister, so that's a plus.
Hmm.
Shots fired at my sister there. Nah, she's a good
Uh,
girl.
hey, I
But
didn't say nothing.
but with my brother, I was lucky enough. Well, lucky and not lucky enough because we were both into gaming and like similar things in most aspects. Growing up, anyway. So there'll be a lot of rivalry. Know what I mean? Like
Yes.
a lot and a lot of rivalry. So that caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's pretty much all the questions I've got. before we end it up, is there any shout outs or anything you want to say to your audience? And if you want, you can plug your Patreon.
I absolutely will plug my Patreon. So I have a Patreon. Basically, I have it set up so that if you pledge $1 per video, that goes towards helping support my animation endeavors. I usually upload about 1 to 3 videos per month, and I'm looking for about 300 supporters to sign up on my Patreon page for just $1 each. You would think that $1 wouldn't really amount to much, but if you get hundreds or maybe eventually thousands of people signing
Well,
up at that
look at
rate,
it like this:
that
a mobile app sells for about $1, right? If 1 million
yes,
people in that day or that year buy that app, even just to try it, even if it's a shitty app, that person still has now 1 million. You know what I mean?
yes,
So a
exactly.
dollar can go a long way.
Yes, it can. And that's why for my first goal, I'm looking for 300 supporters. I've already got, what, 6 now?
I was the
And
sixth. Yes, that's correct.
yes, you were. Thank you so very much.
No worries.
And so now I just need 294 more.
Is there a time period where you're aiming to get it, or
It would be nice if I could do that by the end of this year, but more than likely it's going to probably take a little longer than that, simply to continue to build up an audience
yeah, yeah.
um, and notoriety and so on and so forth. But yeah,
And you do have a YouTube channel. If you want to plug that, everyone plugs shit in this. I don't care. Um,
I'm going to have to bleep that out too. um, Yeah, I'm just at youtube.com/c/ It's a Trap Productions. I'm also on Twitch at It's a Trap Productions. And remember, it's trap with 2 P's.
all links will be in the description below. If you are having trouble searching it on your own, just click the link. It'll go directly to his page, his Patreon, etc., etc. And yeah, that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. This is episode 1, kind of like the pilot. That's what it is. It's the pilot episode. That's what they
Yeah,
call it, right?
and
Yeah.
yes, yeah, that's what they call it. And hopefully it'll continue on for a complete season.
Well,
Like
I've
the
already got someone scheduled for Tuesday, and then I've got someone who's interested, but we haven't figured out times yet. So yeah, no, I've got a few people interested, which is really good. If anyone who's listening to this does want an interview, big, small, it doesn't matter. I just want to get to know the community a bit better and like create bigger bonds. So yeah, just hit me up on Twitter or leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll hit you up.
Well, with that said, thank you, Retro, for having me on for the first episode. Thank you for forcing me at knife point to be here. I promise I'll help out with the other episodes if you just let me live. And other than that, I will see you all next time.
Catch ya.